Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
What's up, podcast family? Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 386. Phil Graham here. Today, we're going to be talking about crafting high-impact holiday Facebook and Instagram ad campaigns. It is October. It is time to leverage the holiday season for your business. No matter what kind of business you have, e-commerce or not, there is so much opportunity this time of year. And last week on the podcast, we talked about what the key trends are this holiday season as it relates to Facebook ads and marketing. Today is going to be even more actionable and very specific because I'm going to share a strategy and plan that we use to help create and craft these high impact holiday campaigns. And I can't wait to share that with you guys because it's worked so well for us. And then next week, we're going to talk about the biggest mistakes many advertisers make that are very costly with both time and money, especially during the holiday season, and how you can avoid those mistakes. So I'm really glad you guys are here. This is one of my most fun, favorite times of the week. And before we jump into the content, whether you're looking for some one-on-one coaching and consulting to actually learn ads at a high level, the right way, or if you're looking for somebody to run your ads for you, and then you can just do what you do best, for either one of those things, it might be a good opportunity for you. Just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. And I would love to connect with you and talk about the possibilities. So let's dive into it, my friends, and talk about crafting these high-impact holiday Facebook ad campaigns. The first thing I want to mention, I really recommend, and you really need to plant the seeds now for sales in November and December. You know, using September and October, September's gone now, but using October as the ability to plant a lot of seeds so that you can do a better job of asking for the sale next month and in December can sometimes make a huge difference. So now is the time to plant the seeds. Don't wait, do it now. Also, I would plan for higher CPMs as we roll into the holiday season, but it's totally normal. And in most cases, it's totally worth it. So I would not let that stop me. I would also recommend you guys tune out all the noise that's out there and all the fake gurus, and don't let your time get stolen from you. There's a lot of distractions, including election stuff here in the US. And whether you like that stuff or not, I would just say be very careful about what that does to your time, because a lot of people lose a lot of time getting distracted by that stuff. So just be very, very careful. So I want to get very specific, very actionable, and dive into this plan for creating and crafting these high impact holiday ad campaigns. Let's start with the strategy, and then we're going to go into the specifics. The strategy that we use is we like to put extra focus into the top of the funnel and generating awareness through value ads, especially in September and October, in order to really grow and really nurture a cold audience and turn that cold audience into a warm audience by the time it's November and December. Now, as you guys know, this is October, so September's done, but you still have all of October to do this. So our ads in October are more focused on pure value, generating a lot of awareness. And also, you'll see in a minute, micro content, so I can identify who's interested in what. So when it comes to November and December, we can run ads that are more focused and sales oriented, but we're not going to be running them blind. We're going to know a lot more about what people are most interested in. What ad angles are they responding to? What audiences worked better in September and October that we can leverage when we're really asking for more sales in November and December. And usually it doesn't work or doesn't work as well if you're not planting the seeds now. So part of that strategy is using, especially October, now that we're in October, using this month to plant those seeds, get that awareness, and then you're going to leverage that during November and December. So let's talk about the specifics and talk about the plan. So first of all, if you haven't already listened to our episode from last week, the trends for holiday ads this year, I would make sure you go back and listen to that. And then I would follow those trends as you're running ads during this holiday season. Second, I highly recommend that you guys leverage video ads this holiday season. And I would do a combination of things. Some videos you could be in it, or if you don't want to be in it, you could have someone else in it, whether it's somebody in your company, or maybe you pay somebody to be in it, but a human could be in there. So those are great video ads to run. I would also run video ads that are focused on products or services and showing other things. So you can really mix it up, but leverage video ads this holiday season. And then really make sure you're paying attention to what your hooks are. So at the beginning of your video, what you put in your headline in your ads, what you put at the beginning of your ad copy, and also even on your landing page or sales pages. You've got to have some great hooks at the very beginning. Please don't do a video and just introduce yourself, because that's not a hook. Start with a pain point or a question or something that matters to your audience. And then you can introduce yourself after that and then go into the rest of the video, but always start with a hook. And then you also want to make sure that wherever you're sending people, whether it's a sales page or a landing page, it needs to be blazing fast. So make sure you are checking your site speed. And a lot of times, if you're just checking it yourself on your computer or your phone, it's already cached because you've already been there. So it might just load instantly. What you should do is, number one, load it in an incognito window on your computer. Number two, just Google site speed. You'll see a Google tool for checking your site speed. Put the URL into that tool and see how many seconds it tells you that page loads. And you want to make sure it's really quick. That's very important. So here's what I would do. I'm going to be more specific now and tell you in October, my goal, and it kind of depends on your budget and how many ads you're running and what you have to work with. But since a lot of different people listen to this, some advertisers have large budgets, some have very small budgets. So I'm going to have to generalize here. But in general, I would kind of look to try and test 5 micro content ad angles. And these would be video ads this month in October. So micro content ad angles would be videos on one specific topic or pain point or problem that you help solve or something that you can help them with. It could be based off of teaching something, inspiring them, solving a problem, or any number of things. I'm sure you guys have heard me give this example, but if you were a gym or a weight loss trainer, that would mean that you would do one video on weight loss, a different video on building muscle, another one on strength, another one on flexibility, stuff like that. You would take each little pain point and create a separate video for each one. And I call that micro content. So for your stuff, you need to figure out what that micro content is for you. What are the pain points you solve? How do you help people? And again, this applies to everyone, whether you're e-commerce or a service business or local, a course business, whatever you are, this applies to you. So figure out why people buy from you. What is the result they want? What does it help them gain? What does it help them avoid? And think of 5 ad angles that you can create videos on and do those 5 video ads. Make sure they're focused on value, where you're actually giving value. You're not just spamming people. You're not selling. They're inspirational, they're value, and make sure they're focused on just one micro content ad angle per video. And then you'll do 5 different ones. And think of these as like 5 different players on a team. You have no idea if any of these 5 players are good yet. So you need them to individually play so you can watch them play and determine who's good and who's not. And that's what you want to do with these ads. So I would do 5 micro content video ads in October. And then I would also test 5 different segmented audiences in October as well. So you want to test specific segmented audiences. You could, of course, do an Advantage Plus. That's not really segmented, but I would still test it. And then I would test a lookalike. And then I would test like 3 or 4 or 5 specific segmented audiences where you're specifically targeting interests, behaviors, demographics, and kind of grouping some of them together. Some of those can be our best audiences. And so you want to make sure that you really play around with this because there's so much potential there. So I would test 5 different video ads, 5 different segmented audiences, and then also 2 to 3 different ad objectives. So that would be my October. 5 video ad angles that are micro content, 5 audiences that are segmented, and 3 ad objectives. Rolling into November and December, I would use the data that I learned from October. And then I would start running ads in November and December that are more sales focused. I still would want to have value in other things, but we can ask for the sale a lot more in November and December because we've planted the seeds properly in October. And remember, we're not going to fly blind. We're going to use the data from our October ads. So what I want you to do is, out of those 5 different segmented audiences that you tested in October, I want you to pick the top 2 audiences, and I want you to use those in November. And then also, you tested 5 different micro content video ads in October. I want you to take the top 2 video ads and ad angles from October, just the top 2, and I want you to run those in November and December. And you can run both of them to both of the top audiences. So you can kind of put them together. That becomes very powerful. Then also in October, you tested hopefully at least 3 different ad objectives. I would take 2 of those, the 2 best, and run some of these ads with both ad objectives. So again, we're doing a lot of our testing in October, and then we're leveraging that data to try and benefit from it as much as possible in November and December without guessing. And then in addition to that, for November, December, if you're having any kind of sales or anything like that, you can obviously run flash sales as ads. You still want to have a lot of value in your ads, and you still want to do more testing and then adapt based off of the ongoing data as well. But you've earned the chance to ask for the sale. You've planted those seeds in October, maybe even in September for some of you guys. And then a couple other quick parts to this plan. In terms of ad spend, you really want to optimize that ad spend. And it's going to be different for every kind of person listening to this, every business, every entrepreneur. I'm just going to say generally, just pretend like you were spending $2,000 a month. Then what I would do is I would want to have the bulk of that to be used in November and December, but I would still want a decent amount for testing in October. So how I might do it, I would probably take the $2,000 a month, which would be $6,000 for October, November, and December. I would probably spend $1,500 of that in October so that I could spend $4,500 of that in November and December. Now, there are variables, there are reasons I might do it different, but in general, I would still be spending a decent amount in October, but I would want to definitely spend more in November and December. And then when it comes to retargeting, what I would be doing during this whole holiday season, October through December, and even onwards after that, for that matter, I would be doing a few different types of retargeting. Of course, we would do normal retargeting, where we're retargeting everyone who's engaged with something. But I would also do micro content retargeting. So back to that gym example, if somebody watched a video on weight loss, then that means they're probably interested in weight loss because they did something to show you they're interested in it. They watched a video of yours that was specific to it. So then I would retarget them with a specific weight loss ad. For somebody else, it might be reducing stress. It would be the same thing. I would target them about stress reduction if you were a gym or something. And you can do this based off of what videos they watch. You can also do this based off of what pages on your website they visit. So I would definitely be doing micro content retargeting along with overall retargeting as well. You're just gonna have to figure out what those ad angles and pain points that you solve are, obviously. And then, of course, any kind of abandoned cart or abandoned lead retargeting is great this time of year. And then lastly, for retargeting, I also recommend you guys test something that I call staggered retargeting. It would have 3 parts, part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 would be in October, 2 November, and 3 December. What I would do is retarget everyone who's in the warm audience with this, and think of it like a little mini Netflix series. So October would be a specific topic or how you solve a pain point. And then November would actually dive a little deeper into it. So it continues on October, but it's different and fresh and maybe another perspective or diving deeper. And then part 3 would be December. You'd send them another retargeting ad with just another fresh angle, another way to look at it, or more depth to what you're talking about. So again, it's like a little mini Netflix series. That's something that I really like to do that sometimes can work really well. So I definitely recommend you guys test that out. And then last, but of course not least, you want to make sure doing this plan, you're always continuing to measure your success and adapt. You don't just do that in October. You're also going to do that in November and December. And every time you run ads, you're always going to do this. But you want to consistently search for and identify your best audiences and then scale them. Identify your best creatives and then scale them. Same thing with ad objectives. You want to make sure that you guys also let things run long enough so that you know whether they worked or not. Because if you shut them off too soon, you might as well not run them at all. And then lastly, you want to make sure that you're making decisions based off of data, not fear, not instinct or anything like that. And definitely not emotion. Make it based off of data. So my friends, this could be a really powerful plan. It's something that has worked really well for us. I highly recommend you guys test it. And then don't forget, next week, we're going to talk about the big mistakes most advertisers make during the holidays and how you guys can avoid them. But for now, episode 386 is in the books. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. And I'll talk to you on next week's episode. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.